Assalamualaikum, my name is Amirul Hafiez and here is my group Aqil Haziq, Ahmad, Syahmi, Haziq, Mohammad, Haziq, Aiman and Mohammad Azhar. I'm going to talk about introduction in registered valuer. A registered valuer is a certified professional authorized by the Board of Valuers, Appraisers, Estate Agents and Property Managers, or as known as BOVIAP, under the Valuers, Appraisers and Estate Agents Act 1981 Act 242 to conduct valuations of real estate and other assets. To qualify, individuals must be complete a recognized degree in property valuation or real estate management, gain practical experience, pass BOVIAP's professional exams, and adhere to strict ethical standards and continuing professional developments (PD) requirements. Registered valuers provide accurate and impartial valuations for purposes such as real estate transactions, taxation, financing, mergers, acquisition, and legal disputes. Their role ensures transparency and fairness in property-related matters, with their activities regulated by BOVIAP to maintain professional standard and public trust. Here is our content for today. The first one is explain the authority to practice by Haziq. The second one is explain the differences between registered appraiser and registered valuer, probationary valuer and registered valuer, broker, real estate negotiator, and registered estate agent by Syahmi. The third one is the purpose of professional indemnity insurance for each registered valuation firm in Malaysia by RES. The fourth one is 5 types of misconduct and ethics by registered valuers and appraisers by Aqil. And lastly, the disciplinary procedures and actions by the board on the matters by Amirul.
Hi, I'm Haziq and I'm going to present about the application of authority to practice. The practice license is the key certification for professionals like valuer, appraiser, estate agents, and property managers. It's required under Section 15A of the Act to ensure they work legally and provide ethically high-quality service. Each profession is governed by a specific section. Valuers and appraisers follow Section 19, estate agents follow Section 22B, and property managers follow Section 22I. By getting this license, professionals prove that they are qualified, meet legal standards, and follow good practice, and it also makes them accountable to the board, which ensure they maintain professionalism and ethics. Most importantly, the license builds trust with the public by ensuring they're dealing with reliable licensed professionals who uphold the standards of their industry. So next, I'm going to present about the ATP process on our interview with RV. Next, I'm going to present about the process of ATP during our interview. To begin the process, petitioner needs to submit Form 8, which is the application for authority to practice. Along with this application, there's a requirement to accumulate 10 CPD points annually. However, there is an exception to this rule. Senior petitioner aged 60 and above are exempted from the CPD requirements, meaning they can skip this step. Once the required CPD points are accumulated, the next step is to report this point to the relevant board. The board will then review and approve this point to ensure compliances. Only if this approval can petitioner move forward to the next step. After the CPD points are approved, the petitioner needs to pay the prescribed fee. Upon payment, the petitioner will receive Form G, which grants the authority to practice. These forms serve as official documentation that you're allowed to operate within your field. Annual renewal process to maintain your authority to practice is essential to renew it every year, as stated in Section 16. Petitioner must submit Form D for renewal annually. Once approved, they will receive Form K, which confirms their renewed authority. If your Form G is ever lost or damaged, don't worry, you can submit Form E to request a duplicate copy. So that's all the process of ATP were introduced by our RV. So that's all for me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ahmad Haziq, and for my part, I'm going to present the difference between valuer and appraisers, registered valuer and probationary valuer, and then the difference between real estate negotiator, registered estate agent, and illegal broker. So first, let's start with the valuer and appraiser. So the first difference is registration and qualification.
So registered valuers are accredited under Part 4 of the Valuers Appraiser Estate Agent Act 1981 and requiring academic qualification and pass the test of professional competence. Meanwhile, appraisers are registered under Part 5 of the Valuer Appraiser Estate Agent Act 1981, and the qualification is based on extensive and long experience and early registration under older legislation before the Act amendment. And next is the scope of practice. Registered valuers have unrestricted authority in valuation, property management and consultancy, including signing valuation reports and providing professional advice. Meanwhile, appraisers are geographically and value limited, meaning they can only work in designated areas and to value properties within specific value limit according to the each state's regulation. And then the difference between the title. So the registered valuers can use titles like valuer, land economist, property consultant or property manager. Meanwhile, appraisers are limited to the title appraiser. Okay, so now the difference between registered valuers and probationary valuers. First is in terms of the registration. So registered valuers are accredited under Section 17, Part 5 of the Valuer Appraiser Estate Agent Act 1981. Meanwhile, for the probationary valuers, they are registered under Section 17A, Part 5 of the Valuer Appraiser Estate Agent Act 1981. And then the basis of registration. So for a registered valuer, they must have academic qualifications such as degree in estate management, and then they must pass the test of professional competence. And then for probationary valuer, they need an academic qualification to qualify for probationary valuer, but they must pass first. They must first pass the valuer's examination. And then for the scope of practice, registered valuers can practice valuation independently, sign valuation reports and provide professional advice as stated in Section 19 of the Act. And then for probationary valuer, they must work under the supervision of registered valuer and are not authorized to sign valuation report. So for the roles, a registered valuer is an authorized and competent professional qualified to perform valuation work independently. Meanwhile, for probationary valuer, they are undergoing training. They need to have 2 years of practical experience before qualify for the TPC, Test of Professional Competence. Then after they pass, then they will become a registered valuer. And now is the difference between REN, REA and broker. So first is the accreditation and qualification. So for registered estate agent, they are licensed by the board, BOVIA, after extensive training and exam including the TPC. Meanwhile, real estate negotiator, they can obtain a rent tag and they need to attend negotiator certification course for 2 days, and then they will register for rent under board. Meanwhile, broker is just person who operate in real estate agency activity without any accreditation or recognition, and they act illegally in the real estate market. And for the scope of practice, registered estate agent can operate their own agency, hire up to 50 rent, and then they can conduct property transaction independently. And for real estate negotiator, their job is to assist the real estate agent and cannot operate independently and must work under REA supervision and under a registered firm. And lastly, for legal action, so if there is any misconduct or legal action done by REA, REN or the broker, so REA and REN is subject to the BOVIA regulation. Meanwhile, for broker, they can subject to penalties, including fines up to 300,000 ringgit and imprisonment for illegal real estate agent practice. So that's it. Thank you.
Okay, hi, I'm Aqil and I will be talking about the types of misconduct and ethical challenges faced by registered valuers and appraisers. Unfortunately, misconduct in this field can harm clients, disrupt the property market and damage the profession's reputation. Based on an interview with registered valuer Encik Syaiful Rizal bin Mak Rajab from IPC Ipoh, I will explain 5 common types of misconduct. Okay, let's start with misleading property valuations. Okay, this happens when a valuer intentionally inflates or deflates a property value for personal or client gain. Okay, this violates Rule 62 of Act 242, which says valuer must serve their clients with absolute fidelity. For instance, a valuer might overstate a property's value to help a client get a bigger loan or undervalue it to lower taxes. Okay, the next issue is corruption. Sometimes clients offer bribes, whether cash or gifts, to valuers to influence their property value. For example, during government land acquisitions, landowners might pressure valuers to inflate the compensation amount. This kind of misconduct goes against Rule 62 of Act 242, which emphasizes protecting a client's interest while upholding professional dignity. It also breaches RES614 Rule number 1, which requires valuer to act honestly with integrity. Corruption does not just harm the valuation process, it could also lead to legal trouble under the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission. Another issue is signature fraud, which is becoming more common. This happens when someone forges a valuer's signature on a fake valuation report. According to Rule 79 of Act 242, a valuer's name, signature and register number must appear on all reports to confirm they are legitimate. Encik Syaiful mentioned cases where fake reports were used to secure loans or for personal gain without the valuer's knowledge. This not only breaches professional ethics but also violates RES Rule number 1, which emphasizes honesty and accountability. Okay, transparency is important in delivering accurate property valuations, but it's another common issue. Some valuers rely on outdated or incomplete data, leading to inaccurate assessment. For instance, using 5-year-old transaction records without adjusting for current market trends can result in a wrong valuation. This breaches RES Rule number 3, which stresses the importance of providing diligent, high-quality service. Encik Syaiful also point out that the risk of using irrelevant data, for example, comparing a residential property to commercial one, will lead to misleading results. Okay, lastly, breaches of confidentiality are a serious concern. Values are required by Rule 63, Subsection 1 of Act 242 to keep client information private. However, sharing sensitive details like a property's valuation report with unauthorized parties is unethical and breaks trust. Protecting client data is not just an ethical duty, it is also essential for building long-term trust and professionalism. Okay, that's all from me. I will pass to the next presenter.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Haris. I will explain on the professional indemnity insurance and loss covered under this insurance. Professional indemnity insurance in the real estate field function as a safeguard professional against claim arising from errors, omission or negligence during their professional services. This coverage is crucial for real estate agent, valuer and property manager to protect their business and reputation. The purpose of this insurance is first, financial protection. This insurance covers legal costs associated with defending against claim and help to pay compensation awarded to client. Second, this insurance will safeguarding professional reputation by help to maintain a positive professional image. Third is a business continuity. This professional indemnity insurance ensure uninterrupted business operation that may have potential to face a legal challenge. Next, I will continue with the claimable loss under this insurance, which is for the valuers. The claimable loss will be first, incorrect valuation. By valuing property will cause a loss to client in investment decision if there is an error in calculation. Second, unprofessional advice. Valuer give unclear and wrong advice that may cause mistake in information given about valuation, result in financial loss to client. Third, failure to recognize costs needed in repairing work, resulting in high repair costs that client need to pay for their work. For the estate agent, the covered loss is as follows. First, breach of contract. The estate agent failed to fulfill their duties by failing to advertise the property to seller. Second is negligent advice by give incorrect or inaccurate advice to client regarding real estate transaction and type of fees charged on ownership. Third, misrepresentation. Real estate agent provide inaccurate information about the current condition of the property's histories, which cause the buyer to purchase a property with hidden defect. The claimable loss that will be covered for property manager is first, careless tenant screening. Property manager fail to conduct background check on tenant who want to rent in the building that can result in property damage, unpaid rent or other issues. Second, break of the contract. The property manager fail to fulfill their duties under the property management agreement, such as negligent or not managing the property and failing to collect rent payment. The last one is poor maintenance. Property manager fail to address and identify necessary repair on maintenance issues depending on the condition of equipment and system that can lead to property damage or tenant injuries.
I am going to talk about the disciplinary procedures and actions by the board. Board is responsible for taking action on any misconduct committed by any registered professional valuers, estate agents and property managers by conducting disciplinary procedures and actions referring to the Act 1981 of Valuers, Appraisers, Estate Agents and Property Act 242 and rules. First one is Section 24, which is a cancellation, suspension and admonishment. An example case under Section 24 involved a registered valuer who provided an inflated valuation for a commercial property to help a client secure a larger loan from a bank. Upon investigation by the Board of Valuers, Appraisers, Estate Agents and Property Managers, it was revealed that the valuer knowingly included false market data and deviated from prescribed valuation standards. After a formal inquiry where the valuer was given a chance to present their defense, the board found the valuer guilty of professional misconduct. As a result, the valuer's registration was suspended for 1 year and a public notice was issued to emphasize the importance of adhering to ethical standards in the profession. Secondly, under Section 25, removal from register. Valuers, Appraisers and Estate Agents Act 1981, the Board of Valuers Appraisers may remove a professional from the register if they fail to meet the necessary qualification, comply with registration conditions or pay prescribed fees. For example, if a registered valuer neglects to renew their registration by not paying the annual fee despite repeated reminders, the board may remove their name from the register. This removal ensures that only active and compliant professionals are listed as qualified practitioners. And now under Section 27, appeal. The Valuers, Appraisers and Estate Agents Act 1981, a professional who has had their registration cancelled, suspended or removed by the Board of Valuers, Appraisers, Estate Agents and Property Managers has the right to appeal the decision to the Minister. For example, if a registered valuer's registration is cancelled due to a misconduct finding, the valuer may file an appeal under Section 27, requesting the Minister to review the Board's decision. If the appeal is accepted, the Minister can reverse or modify the Board's decision, potentially reinstation the valuer's registration. And now under Section 28, Appeal Board. The Valuers, Appraisers and Estate Agents Act 1981, an individual who is dissatisfied with the decision made by the Minister regarding an appeal under Section 27 can further appeal to an appeal board. For example, if registered valuers appeal to the Ministers regarding a suspension is unsuccessful, the valuer can take the matter to the appeal board for a final review. The appeal board, consisting of appointed members, will assess the case and may confirm, modify or overturn the Minister's decision, ensuring an additional layer of fairness in the appeal process. Under Section 29, Procedure for Appeal. The process of an appealing a decision involves submitting a formal written notice to the Minister or the board or the appeal board, detailing the grounds for the appeal with a specified time frame. For example, if a registered valuer suspension is upheld by the Minister, the valuer must submit a written appeal to the appeal board, stating reasons why they believe the suspension was unjust. The appeal must be filed within 30 days of the Minister's decision, and the appeal board will then review the case following the established procedure to ensure a fair hearing. In conclusion, the Valuers, Appraisers and Asset Agents Act 1981 in Malaysia outlines a comprehensive framework for regulating and ensuring ethical conduct among registered valuers. Section 24 to 29 and Rule 131 provide a clear procedures for addressing misconduct, including disciplinary actions, appeal and hearings. The system ensures that professionals are held accountable for their actions, with mechanism in place for suspension, cancellation and removal from the register, while also allowing for appeals and fair hearings to uphold justice and maintain the integrity of the profession. That is all from me. And now for part B, I'm going to talk about the route of Encik Shaiful becoming a registered valuer. Encik Shaiful started his career by studying asset management at ITM Shah Alam as a bachelor's degree student. ITM Shah Alam is known as UITM Shah Alam, then started his career in Red and Horn International from 2001 to 2009. In that company, he managed to gain many experience from valuation case that involves property, special property, for example, luxury hotel at Langkawi. Moreover, he also gains many experiences in handling corporate valuation, and that caused him to develop his career as well as a valuer. In 2010, Encik Shaiful moved to MN Associates Kuala Lumpur Sdn Bhd in Ampang until 2012. Encik Shaiful worked at the firm for a few years before applying for probationary valuer. After applying for probationary valuer, he started his working experience for 10 years under the supervision of registered valuer. He mentions that he learned a lot by working under the international valuation firm. This exposure guarantees competence in a variety of asset classes, valuation criteria, and integrate valuation tasks. During the 10 years experience, Encik Shaiful maintained a record of employment. He mentions that the document serves as evidence of the work completed and skills acquired. It is submitted to the Governing Board of Review for an approval. After submitting this evidence, Encik Shaiful paid fees to take the test professional competence exam. This test assesses the candidate's theoretical knowledge, practical abilities, and ethical comprehension necessary for conducting professional valuations. One of the most important steps in the certification process is passing this test. Encik Shaiful only managed to partial pass the first time he took the test. He paid the fee to repeat partial test and passed the test. Lastly, Encik Shaiful mentioned that after passing the test professional competence TPC and following all legal requirements, the candidates received their official registered valuer certification. Then he applied for registered valuers and obtained his license in 2014 using the record of work experience more than 10 years. From 2015, he joined Island Property Consultant, which is known as IPC, in Ipoh, acting as a branch manager and as a registered valuer until now. That is all from our group. Thank you.